Loops work by using repetition, like a routine or habit in real life. It will stop or jump out of a loop when the condition is false. Repeating a loop several times, meaning doing the same action again and again, is called an iteration. For example, doing the reps in a gym from 1 to 10, you keep repeating the same reps. That's called iteration. You do 1, then 2, then 3, but you stop at 10. So this is your condition to stop at 10 every time you do your reps. So you can set a condition that you will keep doing reps until the count is up to 10. You will keep doing reps because the condition is true until you reach the count of 10. Then when you reach 10, you stop what you're doing. The expression is in brackets, and that is the condition, this one here. And there's a counter I. This will be explained in more detail. So we use the for loop. This is just a simple example. I'll go into much more detail later. Open brackets. This is all the condition here. Let I equal 0, we initialize and declare the variable I. It's just like a counter. You can give it any name you want. You'll usually see coders use I for increment of a counter. It's just a variable name. The next line is I, as long as less than or equal to 10, you keep doing a certain action, and this is the action to take, as long as its value is less than or equal to 10. And every time it goes through the loop, it increments I by 1. So first time I is 0, it'll be 0, add 1 more. Then the next line will be 1, add 1 more. Next line 2, add 1 more. Right up to 10, add more. Then it'll stop. There are 3 common types of loops: for, while, and do while, and we'll explain this in more detail. If you're a beginner, this is probably the best one to learn thoroughly and focus on. This is the most commonly used as well. And it runs code for a specific number of times. As we said, if you're doing your reps in the gym for 10 times, then you know you want it for 10 times. A specific number of times. The number of iterations are known. In the above example was 10. The condition is a counter, which we call I. You can give it any name you want. This tells the computer how many times to run the loop. The for loop can also be used with arrays. In this case, the counter is the array length property. So in the above example, we've used the for loop for numbers, incrementing by numbers, but we can also use it for strings, like an array. We'll explain that in more detail. This is the while loop, the second example, which we'll explain in more detail. Use this if you don't know how many times code should run. And finally, you have a do while loop, very similar to while loop, but the only difference is it will run the statement inside the curly brackets at least once, even if the condition evaluates to false. This will explain more details in some examples.